I kick ass for the Lord. Never loved him the way that I love you. Just drops the mic there.
Hit me with his butt.
I forget. What's up, Butters? I know we're a day late on today's stream, and I'm in quite a mood today, so I can't wait to get started and talk to you today. Welcome to 52/1993, the movie podcast where we talk about movies from the year 1993, watching them, important movies that have been released in the year 93. We go by weekend releases. I can't. I'm still laughing that I even said that. I don't know why I said that. And it doesn't matter if they're good or they're bad movies. And usually I have a guest to talk to me about these movies. And then I interview them about the movies, or sometimes if we have a new guest, what some of their favorite movies are. And we'll be talking about a very interesting movie this week. I'll go ahead and bring my guest in. It's Spencer. Good old Spencer, and we'll bring him in here. I'm sorry. I can't. I'm crying.
It caught me so off guard.
I don't know why I said it, really. I don't. I don't know what's going on right now. I've
my
got
new favorite intro.
I've got legit tears streaming down my face.
We're gonna have to add this to the intro reel now. Oh God, I hate you.
I hate myself. Thank you for joining me today, though.
You're welcome.
You just got off work, and I got off work, and we said, let's do it right after work. It's going to be a great time for both of us. And I agree, it will be. And we're going to talk about this great movie, and I'll tell you all more about it here in a second. I guess I can just tell you about it now. I don't really have any other intro to this. I've kind of ruined everything, I think.
I don't think you've ruined it.
I think I've
you've
ruined everything.
Set the bar really high, though.
I know. This is probably the best one we're going to do. And I might
Nobody's
retire.
here to see it.
Nobody's here to see it. I've been messing around with the Stream Elements stuff in the chat. We're I hope everybody had a good Easter yesterday. That's part of the reason why we didn't do it yesterday. I know I had some family stuff, and then Spencer had some family stuff going on, and I'm glad that we could reschedule and do this and talk about this. So, okay, let's just get into this because I'm just rambling at this point. We're talking, this week's movie is called Sliver, which I didn't know what the meaning of that was, and we'll get into that. It was released on May 21st, 1993, so it was released the same week as Hot Shots Part 2. It's directed by Philip Noyce. And it was written by Joe Esterhaus, based on Ira Levin's book. It stars Sharon Stone as Carly Norris, Billy Baldwin as Zeke Hawkins, Tom Berenger as Jack Lansford, and Polly Walker as Vida Warren. Also have a couple other people in here. I didn't write down Judy's name, but Judy's hilarious. It also has like weird cameo by Martin Landau. He's in it briefly for like 5 minutes. CCH Pounder's in this movie for about Dutch. If you've ever seen The Shield or Always Sunny in Philadelphia, you might know who CCH Pounder is. And the synopsis of this movie is a well-to-do book editor, Carly Norris, moves into a luxury apartment building before learning that a number of female tenants have been dying in grisly ways, allegedly at the hands of a serial killer. Soon, Norris becomes romantically involved with one of the prime suspects, building owner Zeke Hawkins. The other suspect is her neighbor, writer Jack Lansford. Unsure of whom to trust, Norris must uncover the truth before she is the next victim. This movie had a budget of $40 million and a box office return of $116 million, 116.3. It has a Rotten Tomatoes score of 15%. This one might be the lowest. I don't remember what Leprechaun was, but
Is it that low?
it's that low, my friend.
Wow, I didn't know
IMDb
that.
is a little bit more forgiving. You know, that's more from the user's point of view. So that's a 5.1 out of 10. There's
What was the audience score for
I didn't even
Rotten
look up the
Tomatoes,
audience
or did you
score
just
for it.
look at the?
I only look
Here,
at the critics
I
score. You got
you
it.
would.
You look at it
I'll look it
while I
up.
go over this. One thing that this the legacy of this movie has, and the only thing I wrote down, and this is one of those things where if you want to talk to me about it, we could talk about it. I hate the Razzies. I think they're a
Oh
stupid
yeah.
award. I think it's unfair to give awards to people that for their job. Like, I don't know, that it's dumb to me. But this movie was nominated for every single Razzie award that there was, so just want to put that out there.
Bunch of
Some of
haters,
these
man.
maybe deservedly, but honestly, I don't know.
So I
But
just looked. That audience score was 28%, so not much
ooh,
better.
ooh. So let's talk about a couple of reviews. I wrote down a couple. There's one that we have a positive review, we have a negative review. Roger Ebert did not review this one. I don't know what he was doing at the time, but he was watching Hot Shots more than he was watching Sliver. So this one says the real problem is that we do not care, or we care not a bit for these characters. There's no suspense, no drama, no tension, no logic. It makes you appreciate all the craft that went into Basic Instinct, and by comparison, it also makes Basic Instinct's ending look coherent. That was Marjorie Baumgartner, 1 out of 5 stars. And then this one was a glossy, trashy, psychological thriller that manages to entertain despite a reshot ending, which is too abrupt. And that was Chuck O'Leary. He gave it 3 out of 5 stars.
Honestly, that review I would align myself more with. Sorry to jump the gun, but he just.
No.
I feel like he nailed it.
My next question was gonna be, what did you think, Spencer? Give me your.
Yeah. So obviously I'll save my star rating, but I didn't know, so going into this, all I heard was like the title, and I was like, oh, is this a horror movie? And then to know that it was an erotic thriller, I then kind of flashed back to Indecent Proposal and was like, please, not like this. But this one actually had, like you said, eroticism in the thriller. So for that, I was a little more thankful. I felt like it had a pretty solid storyline and plot, and I did not hate it as much as most people did. So I was actually pretty disappointed by the Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb scores. Of course, we've seen each other's scores on Letterboxd, and you told me Joseph was not the biggest fan of this movie, but I think you're both wrong, and I think this movie had a lot going for it. I'm trying to think. I don't really know why people didn't like it unless it was Baldwin. I know from what I read online, people might not have liked him that much. And they also may have had pretty high expectations because the same author that wrote this wrote Rosemary's Baby. So
that's pretty big. Have you seen the movie Basic Instinct?
no, and that's another thing that wasn't able to really alter my judgment because I've not seen that, and I heard it's pretty good.
So Basic Instinct, I don't know if I would say it's pretty good. I think it set the bar pretty high for because it does kind of have a nonsensical plot that reminds me of this a little bit. I think Basic Instinct was a little bit more coherent than this one because I think there's some stuff just missing in this movie. I think it's a sexier movie than this movie because there are some times in this when yes, we did get a lot of eroticism in this movie and a lot of talk about sex and some interesting scenes in this movie, but there were some that kind of felt comical to me. And as we started this stream, I was already crying, laughing at something very dumb. So there are some scenes in this movie where I was laughing at, like, I watched some scenes from it today in preparation. I was just like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. I forgot about it.
See, that added, I know, and I guess I probably shouldn't view this as a good thing for a movie if they're not trying to hit that mark and they're making me laugh for a different reason. Maybe that's not a good thing, but it added to my entertainment, so I just
I
chalk that up as just kind of a serendipitous laugh.
So that's so in my initial, what I wrote down, my little blurb here was the movie was hilarious. The dialogue and nonsensical plot made this movie almost unwatchable, though. So I gotta, decided to two different views of this movie.
Yeah, I thought it was like, I felt like it was ahead of its time, and then I saw Tom Berenger, and I was like, I'm in, because I'm a huge Major League fan.
I was about to say Major League. He's wonderful in Major League.
Yeah, so once I saw him, I was like, no way.
No way.
But of course, it's countered with a mystery Baldwin brother that I didn't know existed.
There's so many Baldwins out there, you'd have no idea. Steven's going through a big career right now. Billy, Alec, they're all doing their thing. I think there's another one in there, a fatter Baldwin. I don't know. There's a lot of Baldwins.
I didn't know that.
And they
I
all
honestly
get
didn't
fat,
know there
too.
were that many. Wait, is this one fat now?
I think Billy is fat now.
Jeez. Oh, they can't escape it.
I'm not shaming him because, look at me, but he was pretty back then. I think you probably think I'm too young for you, don't you? Okay, so let's go ahead and start. So
we have a lot of lines to talk about.
Let's go ahead and start. So just going through some memorable lines and scenes in this movie. I'll start with the opening scene because I do think that it piques your interest very well. We have the blonde girl who's in the apartment, and she sees somebody that she obviously knows enter her apartment, and she's standing on her balcony or whatever, and she gets thrown off the balcony. I think it lingers a little too much on the falling of the lady, but I think the point comes across very well in this movie that okay, we're in this kind of thriller movie, this whodunit movie, murder mystery, and so I think it sets you up for an interesting movie here. Anything like. The only problem I ever had, and I think I mentioned this to you when I was initially watching, there's some weird camera stuff in this movie. Some weird camera angles. This opening scene, and it was the only time I saw it. I've watched it twice now.
Oh.
There's like this weird fisheye lens, and I wonder if it has to do with maybe like the camera, like that we get later in the movie, that there's this person that's watching with all these cameras. But I
think that's it.
It was only used once in this whole movie, so I was like, what is going on?
That is odd. I got a very noir vibe in that first scene that I didn't get
definitely.
in the others too.
So yeah, there's not a lot to talk about with that scene, but that introduces our movie and kind of the setup for everything.
Well, it did pique my interest. Like, what a way to die! Like seems terrifying. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't want to fall out of a.
Yeah.
Because you have to sit there with it and know that you're about to. Yeah.
Is it the worst, do you think? That can't be the worst.
Drowning has to be the worst.
I was going to say that or
being on fire, yeah.
Yeah.
But hopefully the smoke kills you before the fire does.
That's true. It would probably incapacitate you before you burn too bad. I don't know. Yeah. I think I'm still going to go fire being the worst.
I don't know. I think drowning sounds terrible.
I feel like one time I heard that drowning was supposed to be peaceful, but I don't know who would have told me that because how would they know?
Maybe they came back.
It could have been.
It could have been. We had an Easter weekend. That guy came back. All right, let's talk
sure
about
did.
Yeah, falling does have a very sudden impact, though. But you have to deal with it. Somebody, you're. I feel like time slows down. I broke both my wrists. This is a dumb side.
No, go for
I broke both my wrists at the same time when I was in 5th grade. And I felt like there was at least a minute from when I had released from the monkey bars to where I hit the ground. There was
Oh
a full
gosh.
minute because I had to choose which way I was gonna, land. I felt
You
like I had more
you
time.
you broke both of your wrists at the
Same
same
time,
time?
yeah.
I think I've seen a
I
film that
bit my
started like that.
yeah.
But so
It's pretty
when
much the
you're
same as Sliver.
so when you're falling, I guess I don't want to linger on this too long, but do you try to go head first? That way it's instant, or
I mean, I don't know. Do I just spread my body out and try and just spread everything out as much as possible?
that way the impact spread? I don't think that
Spreads to
works.
everything?
Yeah.
I've seen The Mask.
Fair enough. I've seen Hot Shots too, and he can just ostrich himself in the sand. So
That's true. I think I'd try and go head first. You're right.
yeah,
Let's just end this thing. All
sorry.
right. So the next part that we get to, I don't want to linger on it too long, but Carly is looking for an apartment. That's our protagonist, Sharon Stone. She's looking for an apartment. It's getting shown to her. It's the exact apartment of the woman that just, got thrown out. And she loves the apartment. It's this really nice Sliver apartment building.
You say nice. It looks like a doctor's office.
It's
A little odd.
1993.
I
Like
know, but
everything. This is a very 90s movie. Pavarotti gets mentioned in the
Oh,
first
yeah.
5 minutes of this movie, and I'm like, who the heck is talking about Pavarotti?
and Pearl
Oh,
Jam a bunch too.
Oh, Pearl. Oh God, that Pearl Jam.
Oh, but I did want to mention something in the scene at the risk of going on a tangent here. There was something that the realtor said that pissed me off really bad because I absolutely hate it when people ask this question. So obviously, like she's looking at this nice apartment, right? Like it's
Mhm.
upscale. She's got some money to spend, whatever. And the realtor said, "What is it that you do, Miss Norris?" And I hate it when people ask that because it's just like what your answer is going to determine how much respect I give you based on how much money I think you make. And I loathe that question because it's so loaded. Because it's just,
Yeah.
what do you do? Like, how can you afford this? It struck a nerve with me just because it's my own personal pet peeve.
Well, she's a book editor. That's what we learned from this. She works for a book editing or book publishing place, and she's
And
an
we know
editor.
they make a lot of money.
Yes, she makes a lot because this place, like, again, the apartment's huge. It's got weird bathrooms.
I don't remember the bathrooms.
Remember, it's got the circle tub.
Oh, that
Yeah,
is weird.
it's a weird bathtub, with a stand-up shower. Yeah, it's just weird. But we take her through this. There's a lot of like curious faces that we see as she's like being shown this apartment building. And then we cut to her office. I don't think there's anything else to linger on there. We cut to her office where we meet Judy, who
You
is
love Judy.
Judy is something. Judy's in the wrong movie, is what I'm saying.
She did seem out of place. I'll give you that.
Judy, it reminds me of like a Kristen Wiig, of a lot. Kristen Wiig would have
Yep.
nailed that character, but also Judy was supposed to be in a romantic comedy movie as the best friend, and she is for some reason in this movie talking about getting laid and orgasms and lead pencils, and like their relationship is, I don't even know what it is. Is she assistant? Is she just like, is she the same position as Carly? I don't really know what Judy's vibe is. She talks about Pearl Jam. She doesn't. This is where the Pavarotti thing is. She's like, come with me to see Pavarotti. These are two mid 30s, 35-year-olds, let's say, going to watch Pavarotti, an opera singer, and we also learned in this scene that Carly's not in a relationship anymore. Briefly,
But we learned she would like to be.
but she would like to be. And she's like, let's go out to see Pearl Jam because that's what the kids are listening to in 1993. And it leads to a great line that Judy says, which is, hey, isn't Pearl Jam some sort of Oriental sex thing? Not only are we throwing out the word Oriental, which is one of my least favorite words on the planet.
Yeah,
I hate
that.
it when ramen refers to themselves as that flavor. I don't like it. but Judy obviously doesn't know who Pearl Jam is. She's a boomer in this sense. Um, I don't get it. I don't get this. I don't know why we're in this, except to maybe establish like that Carly is single and looking to get into a relationship, not
Oh yeah. She
not
does
date.
deliver another really funny line later, but we can get there.
I hate her
You
so
know what
much.
it is.
Oh yeah, I've got it written down definitely. Um, the Carly in this scene, she gets a call from the realtor lady, and the realtor lady lets her know that she's been approved for the house. She went that morning and she got approved that afternoon. Doesn't happen.
And she's moving within a week.
And she's moving within a week. That's absolutely correct. And does anything happen in between this, between her and moving in? And um, she, yeah, I don't think so.
I think she may like bump into the Baldwin in the hallway. I'm sorry, I can't remember his name. But I think
Zeke is his name in the movie.
oh yeah,
which
yeah, yeah,
great
yeah.
name for a human being in this world. Zeke.
I think
Was he from West Virginia? Like,
I can't. But yeah, I think that they run into each other like a little bit. It's just kind of like what they call a meet cute.
a little bit of a meet cute.
But
Nothing cute about it. I'll tell you
and
that.
and I think that's all she sees before she's like moving in and stuff,
Okay.
and she just gets her place ready.
So so she moves in. Um, she asks Zeke about like a market, and then that's where she meets this old man.
Oh,
Who,
wait, before that, there is a line that Zeke said there that I laughed really hard at, and I don't know if you caught it as well. But I think it's him. He's trying to like hit on her or whatever, and she's holding like groceries or luggage or something, and he offers to like carry them for her, and she thinks he's creepy because he is,
Mhm.
and says, I can do it myself. But then later, I guess she like lowers her guard and she goes, you know what, these are getting heavy, and he says, sorry, I'll see you. It's like, yes.
He says sorry because he's holding the elevator up. He handed him back to her.
Yeah, well,
But that's after she meets this old man who says, "Hey, Carly, you look like the girl that lived in the apartment before you, and she's dead. And we were friends, and I'm not a creepy old man, I promise."
he said, I'm not a dirty old man. Sometimes I wish I were. What does that mean?
I don't know. That's what I'm talking about with this movie. She also, okay, after all this, because we get that weird conversation. He's like, "I'm going to Japan" or something.
Yeah.
Because I don't even know what his job is. I forget. He's a professor. I forgot. It's not important. Honestly, this old man is not important to this movie. And the fact that it's all established, it's dumb.
I
All
need
right.
you to slow your roll shitting on this movie though, because it's better than you're giving it credit for.
No, it's not. Um, we we know that Carly is in a past relationship. She does this thing where she's alone in her apartment. She's playing golf. She's putting into a cup. That's a thing in '90s movies. I feel like a lot of offices they putt into cups. She's wearing, I think, a just button-down shirt and underwear. So that's a thing. She sees like a party across the street. She's like, oh, she's a little bit looking at that, and I think that gives her an idea to host her own party. She also goes into the bathroom to get ready for her bath that she's gonna have, her very interesting bath, and she like holds her stomach like around where
Oh yeah.
you would, when women do that, especially in a movie, there's some symbol of like pregnancy or anything like that. Nothing.
Yeah, that
We
doesn't get addressed. I
Nothing.
totally forgot about that.
We
I
don't get
assume like
any information about her past relationship or that she's was possibly pregnant or any of this stuff. It means nothing to this. And then we get this intense, what I wrote down as JO scene.
oh yeah.
In the tub, and this is where we learn, like, she's masturbating in the tub, and this is where we learn that she's being watched. And
Wait, I thought she was scratching a lottery ticket off. Sorry.
No. You're very funny. Um, in this intense scene where we realize that somebody's watching her, and I don't know if we learn that somebody's watching this entire apartment complex yet, but we do know that there are cameras in her
Yeah, I
apartment.
think it pans over to
I think it
everyone
does
else.
too. I think we get to see like all these other screens and everything, so it's very dark, very ominous. Somebody's watching her as she's doing this, and yeah, I guess that's it for
Yeah, I
this
think
scene.
right after that, it pretty much goes into the no. There may be something before her party.
Okay, there's another thing that happens where she meets Jack for the first time.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Her
she would have to meet him.
her publisher if that's somebody in chat said if that was a scratch off, she must have won. She definitely won something. The cameraman was not interested in what was going on though. He focused on very weird
Yeah, he had the
areas.
zoom setting
Yeah, the
very.
zoom was weird there. Not what I would have done. So we get the first time that Carly meets Jack is with her is Martin Landau. He's in this. This is one of the first like scenes and I don't know if he's trying to like set her up. Jack is a writer played by Tom Berenger, and she's like, I've never read you before. And then Jack says like 6 times in a row, you'll read me. You're gonna read me. You'll read me. You'll read me. You'll read me. Says it like 6 times. Again.
Yeah, I was wondering why he was so adamant that she was gonna read him. Like, okay, like it's not a big deal, dude. He gave me the most creepy vibes of anyone, and that's
Oh, I
hard with
hated
the
it.
Baldwin.
I know. Yeah. Like Billy Baldwin comes off, like, oh, he's a good looking dude, but he is a little bit creepier. He lingered a little too much in the elevator scene that he had with her. But then we get before the party scene, before she hosts her party and everything, we get the running in the park scene where she's just,
This scene pissed
exercising,
me
running in
off.
the park. And this man in a hoodie comes up and sunglasses looking like the Unabomber, just running in the park, just grabs her mid-run, scares her. I would have punched the dude.
Yeah, dude, that's not funny. Like, you don't do that.
No.
Also, but let me backtrack a little bit. So in that scene where you were saying like you will read me, I think that she was talking to Landau a little bit about. I think they were actually talking about him. They were talking about Jack. Like, have you met my friend Jack? Blah blah. He's an author, and Landau says something like "Speak of the devil," and Jack says, "I'm the devil," and I was like, "Is that foreshadowing?"
Yeah.
And then also when he said he lived in her building, I was like, does everyone live in her building?
Everybody does. Everybody in this movie lives in her building, except for the cops. They're the only ones. But
Yeah. Well, and also,
but it seems like they live there because they're there a lot.
I think, and we do have a comment in the chat. Every guy is creepy in this, I swear. But I think even before the running scene, I think there was a death we may have missed.
Did the guy die? The old
Yeah,
man?
I'm pretty sure he did. I'm pretty sure he was naked in the shower on the floor.
I saw some old man butt.
Yeah, that's always good.
Yeah. So he apparently fell in the shower and died. This man that she just met. Convenient? I don't know. Was he going to tell her something scandalous or secret? We don't know. And in fact, we will never know.
And so, yeah, in that running scene though, just to go back to it. Sorry, I'm jumping around a lot.
You're jumping, man.
Yeah. He wouldn't leave her alone, and that really irritated me because not only are you scaring this poor woman by something that is absolutely not funny in the slightest, but you just will not let her walk away. Like he just keeps following her and keeps like harassing her, and I'm like, God, leave her alone. And then I wrote that, and we'll see that I was perhaps wrong later or right, that Berenger I thought was a red herring for Baldwin being the bad guy.
I get that. I'm behind that 100%. I thought that was the way this was going 100%. So,
but it gave us a nice little M. Night Shyamalan twist, making it a great movie.
No, just because a movie has a twist doesn't make it a good movie. And then we get the party scene.
And then
So after this death, she's like, let's have a party. She also receives a telescope when she first moves in with a note from her secret admirer.
receives it was
It just
there.
shows up. Yeah. So she has this party. She invites all her friends over. Both Jack and Zeke show up uninvited. Both, one has, Dom Perignon, the other one has California Red. And so that's a part. And then, like, they get to somebody at her party's like, there's people having sex across the street. Those people are 69ing sideways.
I couldn't even tell.
No, it was.
You must have zoomed in.
I zoomed. I did the creepy.
The Zeke.
The Zeke zoom. I did the Zeke zoom. I don't care if I spoil any of this movie for anybody. Yeah. But they're definitely horizontal 69, and good for those people. Whatever.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch that.
Yeah. Just it looks weird.
I think that's why I think that's why I was confused. I was like, this is defying physics.
Yeah. It's
So
and
I can't be seeing this.
And then Tom Berenger's character Jack is like, she's a peeper. She's a peeper. Like, but everybody is looking, and she spends a little too much time on the telescope, like watching these people. But yeah, it's so weird. And then after it's all set, this party, they're all peeping on these people across the street or whatever. Zeke is like, hey, do you work out? And she's like, no, I don't work out. I run. And she's like, I don't like going to gyms. He says like really work out, which means like weights and stuff, it's so dumb. And she's like, no, I don't go to a gym because they have mirrors there. Again, stupid. So dumb.
You're making me
Hate
question-
this movie? Good.
Yeah. But I'm not gonna let you do it because I still have my own enjoyment.
No, and he's like, no, come with me tomorrow morning, 10 a.m., and we'll work out together. I promise, no mirrors. And then Jack comes out of nowhere and is like, hey, your boy Zeke, blah, blah, working out. And maybe we should do something that next night. And she's like, maybe. And he's like, I'll take that as a yes. So she has 2 dates tomorrow.
No, she's declined 2 men. So she has 0 dates.
She has 2 dates because he
in
makes.
theory.
But she she's very coy about it. She's like smiling.
Not on the maybe on the dinner though, right?
No, she was definitely.
Okay.
Even after he scared her in the park, she was like laughing and like running away. As she was running away, she thought it was cute in a way.
Yeah, there was another thing that she thought was cute later that we'll get to that she definitely shouldn't have.
Well, she ends up
Very
going.
naive.
She ends up going to work out with Zeke the next day, and there are definitely mirrors because it's a gym.
Shocker.
And then he gets like, I don't know what he says. Like she's working out her like on a thigh machine or whatever, and he comes up behind her, and I feel like he says, you have a nice ass, and she's like, nobody's looking anymore. And he's like, no, the wrong people aren't looking or something.
I think that's exactly how it
but
goes.
it does.
Yeah.
I cannot. It was so incoherent. Like maybe it's because of his Baldwin voice and him just being like, you have a nice ass. Like I can't even do it because it's so just dumb.
He's in the mob.
Yeah, I don't get it. But she like after they get done working out, after he's already lied to her. They stop by. They stop in front of this like video store, like video camera store. And he's like, you think I'm too young for you, don't you?
Your voice is pretty freaking spot on. Also, during this scene, there's a cameo from the Power Glove.
Oh yeah, well that's coming up. That's when he gets to the apartment, because this isn't his apartment yet.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
And she's like, no, I don't. Blah, blah, blah. And then she takes him up to the apartment. The Power Glove makes he's a Zeke. We find out that Zeke is a what we would say software developer, but a video game developer, I guess.
Yeah.
Is
If
what
he
he does.
developed the Power Glove, he's a failure.
She's looking around his apartment, and I still don't know, and maybe you know, But she's looking at something. She goes, "Yeah, I play it all the time." What are they talking about? What video game are they talking about?
That's a good question because I don't remember her looking at anything
No,
specifically. I
no,
think
she's
I heard
not.
her say
There's
that.
just a wall of like little video game like things on there, and
What,
she's just like, "I play it all the time."
maybe she did. Maybe she was looking at a little cartridge we couldn't see.
I don't know, and I want to
I'm
know
gonna
what he
give her the benefit
created.
of the doubt.
What computer
You
game
what?
did he play, or what computer game did he create? I want to know.
Maybe he created. No, never mind.
But oh, this is my favorite line in the entire movie. Are you
What?
ready?
Now I'm about to be caught off guard because I did not write this down. Yeah.
She points at something in his. She's like, "What is this?" And he says, "It's a volcano. I love them. I hope to fly into one someday."
I do remember it now. She says, "Why?"
I don't know. It's something about losing control and burning to death that I'm really into.
I mean, you read why they included that later, right?
Yes, it's so dumb.
But
It
it's
is
very
so,
forced. Yeah.
and then they have sex after this.
That was not entirely consensual either. I did
No,
not.
he
I was
like
very uncomfortable.
he like goes in like the penguin's finger, like he like gives her the French flipper trick, and she was not
Yeah.
consenting to that. And she seemed very uncomfortable to his touch, period. Like, it
Yeah.
seems like she's got some trauma, again, unestablished trauma that we don't get from any backstory in this movie. And then, you know, it's that trope in movies where there's like no consent, and then, yeah, I guess there's consent. Again, another problem I have with this is they just got done working out.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. I don't. You know what? I don't have as much of a problem with that. It's on the surface, it seems gross, but if one person just got done working out, yeah, that person needs to shower. If they both just got
I
done
don't know what
working
their
out, you're about to get sweaty anyway.
I don't know what the hygiene of these two people are. There are
Well,
differences. Like, and for me,
yeah,
I got to shower. I'm a
yeah,
showerer.
yeah.
Sue me.
I mean, I am too, but
I'll
like I
probably
said,
shower after this pod.
you feel dirty.
I do.
Uh,
I feel like
but and also, does he tell her yet that who he is?
does he tell her who he is? I think we learn that he owns the building after this, the next day when she wakes up. I think they have sex like 3 times in this whole like span. Cuz like she wakes up, she starts
was
putting on
fun.
her clothes.
Oh yeah,
And
that
then
one they
he's
just didn't
like,
really
"Come
show.
here," and then she like unveils his dick to her,
Yeah,
and she's like, "Uh-oh,
as one does.
are we about to do this again?" And then I don't know. She's at some point there. She's like, he tells her that he owns the building,
Yeah,
so
which makes it even creepier because he essentially got her approved so she could move in and he could bang her.
yeah,
So,
I don't know.
what a creep.
What a creep. I know I'm skipping around here, and I know there's probably some exposition in between these scenes, but the next scene that I have is, yeah, I think Jack kind of like warns her about him and like gives her a bunch of information, but she agrees to go out with Zeke another night
To dinner.
to dinner. And
Oh wait, before you get there, I got another thing. I remember we were talking about because I think there's a scene before this, and we were talking about like why she like smiles and blows stuff off and thinks stuff is cute because she's naive or whatever. So she's at work working on the computer, and like I think the power gets cut or something, and then it comes back on, and then Zeke is controlling her computer and writing stuff, and it's obviously hella creepy. And she's just like, "Oh, he loves me."
he sends her a digital rose, and she touches the screen of the computer like it is the most romantic thing in the world that somebody has done for her.
So creepy.
Just like strokes the screen. It's weird.
Oh, He's not a man of culture either. Any
Oh,
man of culture would have drew a dick, and we
okay.
know it.
So this is what happens. After that happens, she goes home to her apartment. Jack's in her apartment for some reason. There are flowers everywhere. Obviously, they're from Zeke. But this is where Jack's like, hey, she gets a gift, and it's a lingerie.
Oh yeah,
Um,
because he was like he guessed what it was.
yeah, he's like, it's probably something blue and lacy. Um, and Jack is obviously a creep because he just let himself into. He said her door was open, but
We know that's not
we
true.
know that's not true. Come
You
on
live
now.
in New York.
Yeah, nobody leaves their door open. Um, and so Jack gets the heck out of there. She kicks him out. And then we have this scene where Zeke asks her on a date and tells her to wear what he sent her. And they go to dinner at this very nice, fancy restaurant. And
I was very excited to talk about this scene.
they play poker. This is what they call poker. Whatever. And he asks her to prove that she is wearing the bra and panties.
I knew you would have a problem with the way he said it.
Panties. Now the panties. I'm going to keep
No.
saying it.
To me, it wasn't the way he said it. It was the volume.
I can't see it from here.
What about the panties?
What
he
about the
yells.
panties?
Everybody could hear him.
Yeah, the old couple next to him are watching this whole thing. Like, and they're like one of the front tables, like in front of the window too. And he's just like, if you won't show me, I win, you lose.
Dude, your Baldwin voice, you may as well become a Baldwin. I think that's your
I think I would
stardom.
missed my calling as being a
Yep.
Baldwin, being a fat Baldwin. I'm just a fat Waits.
I know a Baldwin who could use some replacing about now.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so this poker scene happens and she like unbuttons her dress in the front and like kind of shows that she's wearing this and he's like, "Yeah, but what about the panties?" And so she like tries to get him to look over under her dress to see that she's wearing these, and he's like, "I can't see it from there." And so she takes them off and he does something weird with like his hands to where he's like cupping them around, and she says, "I win, you lose," and like throws them on his plate, and he grabs them and like rubs them on his cheek in this scene. And again, nobody has kicked these people out for just saying the bra and panties at the top of his lungs while this this couple that's next to them is. It's bizarre. This movie's bizarre. I don't know what's going on.
It is, but I'm into it.
And then they go home, and she doesn't get off on his like he stops and goes to his apartment, and then she doesn't.
I was a little confused about that.
Like they're like making out in the elevator too, and she doesn't go with him. And then she comes back.
Oh yeah.
She goes into his apartment, starts looking around, like looking for him, and then all of a sudden, I don't know what the needle drop music is for this scene, but it's very intense. And you just see this right butt cheek on the side of the screen appear, and he like walks towards her. Again, very non-consensual here, but like throws her up against the
This one was a little more consensual. I'll say that.
yeah.
I thought this one was pretty hot. I'm not gonna lie.
And like lifts her dress up and all this stuff, and
I thought they did a good job with that scene because I felt the passion.
I felt the eroticism.
I got a little horned up.
The walk-in was the bad part for me.
Okay.
Whatever song it is, whatever weird
you didn't like his
techno
walk-up song?
90s
What
trip hop.
What would your sex walk-up song be?
Oh, it would be a WWE walk-in. Oh, you didn't know?
You better call
somebody. Oh, somebody.
Okay, that would be pretty good.
I would love that.
I'd go Stone Cold's Glass Breaking.
After they have sex this time, he gives her Zeke lets her in on a little bit more information. And he lets her see his insane viewing room. So this is the first time, well, not the first time that we know it's Zeke. But Zeke is the one that has he owns the building. She lets her know that. And then also that he can see into every apartment, multiple angles, and he just watches people, and that's his thing.
It's a bold move to show
Bold
somebody that
move from the
soon.
Baldwin. Bald move from the Baldwin.
I really I really like this scene too though, just because her emotion to it, like obviously disgust, but then there's I feel like from her you can also tell that there's a little bit of interest as well, which I wrote down like I see where she's coming from with that because obviously it's super messed up, but at the same time, like it's incredibly interesting too because you like get to see into these people's lives like genuine candid moments.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, obviously super messed up, but that you can't lie if there's not like a little bit of interest back there, like, huh, like
And
that would be interesting.
he already knows. We've already established with the telescope and everything that he gave her that she likes to watch, and she
Mm-hmm.
likes to watch a lot of stuff. So yeah, she's disgusted, and then as she gets like more into it, and she sees like some of the, she laughs, she cries, she finds out a couple things about some of the other tenants in the apartment complex, and
I think
uh,
that was my favorite. I think that's my favorite aspect of the movie is like how they kind of dive into a few of the lives, which I think and that's what you usually ask at the end if you can make it a little better. That's one thing I think would be maybe diving into that a little bit and trimming
mhm.
some of the other fat, kind of diving into the real lives of these people, and then maybe go into that moral quandary of are we doing this for good? Stopping this pedophile, or are we doing this for bad, prying into these people's lives? So
Yeah. We also at one point during this, she gets a lot of information. Like, she the girl that lived in her apartment before her died. The old man died. She does one investigative like reporting thing and gets out that microfiche and learns that like other people have died in this building. That there was actually one more before them. It's the only time we ever see her investigate it, and it never comes back around. Um, so I just wanted to make sure and point that out.
I think we also missed like an entire storyline, but it wasn't. I'm not sure how
With it
important it
Vita.
was. Yeah.
Well, that's what I was getting ready to say.
Oh,
I
okay.
was trying to figure out the timing of this because I even though I watched it twice, I was like, I don't remember when Vita gets murdered. But Vita, who is her next door neighbor, gets murdered in the stairwell, and Carly finds her, and she finds Jack uh, right next to her. Like the power goes out during this time, and she sees that Jack is like over the body, and he's like, "Carly, no, I didn't do anything," or I don't even, and like
Yeah, something
chases
like
her
that.
down,
Yeah,
and
that'll teach her.
that'll teach her. And then she calls the cop, and then so he gets arrested for the murder of Vita, and Jack is real chummy with the cops.
Oh
Like
yeah.
weirdest interrogation scene.
Was he really arrested, or were they just investigating him?
I think they're just. I mean, they arrested him. He gets arrested first, and then
Oh, okay. Well, because and you say that about him being chummy with the cops, because like for a split second, I had 100% forgot his profession and automatically assumed he was a cop based on the way that he was talking with them.
no, he writes like crime. He writes like erotic
Oh, that makes
thrillers.
sense. Yeah.
But yeah, he's really chummy with the cops in there, and I got a little confused about his relationship with them. And CCH Pounders, like he's gonna get out because he's
That's not
gonna
how she
post
said it.
bail. That's not how she said it.
I mean,
Can you
I'm
do
not
an
gonna try.
impersonation of it?
I'm not gonna. Only Dennis Reynolds can
Can
do
do
that.
that,
But
yeah. Um, and so he does get out, and later he. I mean, I think there's some other scenes with Zeke and Carly that establish like that Jack is the guy, like he's the bad guy here, and we need to be on the lookout for him. He breaks into her apartment, Jack does. So we get that fight scene. This is another thing that I was confused about. If Zeke is watching the whole time, especially Carly's apartment, why does he not know that Jack breaks in? Or is he letting that happen so that she'll stop suspecting Zeke of being the murderer? That's the only thing I could think of. Is like
that's an interesting theory.
Zeke
But
has to know that Jack is in there.
well, not see. I kind of looked at it as like he can't watch 24/7. And then also like they cut back to him a little bit. I think maybe during the fight scene or sometime where he's like, I don't know, he's eating or something, doing something mundane, obviously not watching the cameras. But I
Yeah.
mean, he can't watch, if he's got however many, I don't know, 500 rooms in that entire place, like obviously he can't see everything that's going on all the time. But that's an interesting theory though, about him possibly letting it happen. I think uh, kind of those open interpretations are what makes this movie so good.
Every time you say it, I'm gonna laugh. Jack breaks in though, and Carly gets Zeke to come down because Jack has a gun to her head essentially. And when Zeke comes in there, Jack and Zeke get into a scuffle. A gun is dropped on the floor. Carly goes for it. Jack grabs it. Carly shoots Jack. And now we have a dead person on our hands. Tom Berenger's character is dead. Sorry for all those people. But they find out that he had a key to her room, maybe because it
Yeah,
was a
they've kind
separate
of
they're
random.
some random key that he had. And so they think that he had a key to her room, but the whole time, like the red herring thing that you were talking about, I think that Zeke dropped that in her apartment. Like, is he slick enough to drop this in the apartment and see that Jack had keys to her the whole? I don't know. I don't want to give this movie too much credit.
Yeah, you should, because I
think
thought
it's
that's
that
what
bad.
happened.
But Carly then she's like, I don't want to stay in this apartment anymore, so she goes and stays at Zeke's apartment. And I do think at this point Carly is still suspecting of Zeke. He asks her, or she asks him to delete the their sex tape that they have that he watches all the time. And then he's like, I'm gonna go get something to eat, like completely trusting of her. And she's like, great, thanks, because she has previously seen where he hides his secret videos and stuff in his closet. And as he goes out, Carly goes in there and finds all these other tapes that he has and discovers that Zeke did have an affair with the lady that lived in the apartment complex before him, did have an affair with Vita, and not yet, but Zeke comes back and discovers all this, and he's like, oh, I love you. They mean nothing to me. All the time, Vita and the other girl, I forget what her name is, sex tapes are in the background with Zeke, and he keeps saying, you smell great. Over and over and over and over again. There's a lot of repetition in this movie. You smell so great. Oh,
Which
yeah,
is obviously
you smell
the
great.
same line he said to her.
Yeah, it's just the same thing over and over. He says that he loves them. They smell great, whatever the heck that is. I think they're probably all wearing the same lingerie and all this other stuff. And she gets pissed off about it, rightfully so, because he's been lying to her this entire time. And then we see in the background the tape, the footage of the girl that had lived in the apartment complex before. And we see the menacing figure, the hooded figure, come in, and we're waiting. And Zeke is like, oh, don't look at that screen. And we're waiting to see this reveal that it's Zeke the whole time. And it's not. It was Jack. Jack is the one that swept in there and killed the girl who lived in it. And that is the big twist to this movie, is that it gives you like Zeke this whole time, and she just accepts his creepiness. And then when we get set up for what is supposed to be the ending, I think, it turns out that Tom Berenger is actually just as big of a creep. Everybody that lives in this apartment complex is a huge creep. We've established that. And I guess Jack killed her and Vita because they were both having an affair with Zeke, and Zeke can get it up and Jack can't.
Yeah, because Judy got with Jack.
Oh yeah, and said that he didn't have any lead in his pencil.
Yep. So he was not happy about that.
No. And she says to Zeke, she has the gun, by the way, after locking Zeke out and Zeke getting back in there. You like to watch? Watch this. And she just starts shooting all of the different television screens in his little watch room. And then at the end of all of this, you think that she's going to shoot him, even though the only crime he's done here is withholding evidence and also,
Videotaping everyone in
videotaping
their
people
private
without their
rooms.
consent in their private rooms and everything. She says, "Get a life."
I was really pissed off about that line, but uh,
Get
I
a
mean,
life.
what can you do?
That's the second movie this year that we've had there where we've had somebody say "Get a life." The other one is Homeward Bound, where Chance
Oh,
says,
was
"Get a
it?
life." Get 9 of them.
Well, I don't know. That movie sucked. I thought you were gonna say Dead Alive.
No, not at all. The only other thing, and I know this is your favorite line of the whole movie, is
Uh-oh.
that's the movie, folks. That's where it ends. Get a life. Then with the big twist and everything. Oh gosh, bizarre movie. But anyway, earlier in the movie, we have an exchange between Carly and Judy. And Carly says, "You've been spending too much time with your vibrator." And Judy says, "I certainly have. I've been getting a plastic yeast infection."
There it is. That's the line they should have ended with.
It's a better line.
That was good, but you're right. That Get a Life was just the cheese factor was too much.
So other than, we jump around. Is there any scene that I missed that you were like, we need to concentrate on this scene a little bit more? We need to talk about this more.
I don't know about concentrating on too much, but it might be worth mentioning that they did end up intervening with one of the families that Zeke was watching, who was apparently molesting the little girl or something. Like
They were very vague on that, though. She's right. Every time he's around her, he can't keep his hands off of her.
I don't think they wanted to get too like descriptive
Yeah,
or gross with it.
obviously.
Which I'm kind of thankful for, but I can't remember who ended up telling him like, if you touch that little girl again, I'll kill you. Was it Zeke?
Zeke calls the dad or the stepdad at his work and tells him that, and then we see a scene where the stepdad talks to the little girl and he's like, "I'm sorry, I didn't."
Oh yeah.
I didn't mean to, make you. I don't even think he says mean to make you uncomfortable.
Yeah, whatever he said.
He was just like, "I'm never gonna do that again." Problem solved.
Yeah. Was that like a
we-
nod to Zeke possibly being a somewhat nice guy?
I guess I don't know. But then he's like, "We could wire up the whole city, Carly."
Oh yeah. God, your voice is good. Is he here? Did you bring him on the
Special
podcast?
guest Billy Baldwin. We could wire up the whole city, Carly.
Damn, that's good. You're good. You are a Baldwin in my book.
Thank you. That means a lot to me. We should watch Backdraft. Get a life.
Get a life. I got shades of The Truman Show, 50 Shades, and Sleeping with the Enemy in this movie. Obviously, much more watered down version of those.
Yeah.
But
I like the voyeuristic part of this.
mm-hmm.
I think that's what makes. I think there are so many good movies about this. Like, Rear Window is a great example of this voyeuristic thing. Like,
I was gonna say,
I love that
there's some
movie.
I want to say, but I don't know if it would be giving some stuff away.
About what?
But about voyeuristic movies. But another really good one, I guess I can. Spoiler incoming, I guess. But so you could go all the way back to Psycho too if you wanted to. That one's not a spoiler.
Oh yeah, I think that works. Yeah.
But the one I was thinking of was Old Times at the Grand Royale.
Oh, good. That? Yeah. That's a great movie. Bad Times at the
Bad Times. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a great movie.
So
The Conversation. Thank you. Somebody in chat. One of my favorite movies, and
never seen it.
I think it came out the exact. So it's a Francis Ford Coppola movie. It came out the exact same year as The Godfather. Was nominated for.
Oh wow.
Yeah, both movies were nominated for Academy Awards. The Conversation is great.
I'm gonna write that down for sure.
The Conversation is. It's up there for me. Good. Yeah. Thank you, Ryan. That's a good. Good one to put out there. But this movie is nowhere near the caliber of The Conversation. Conversation's a 5-star movie. This is.
I don't know. I
Far
feel
from
like
that.
this and the conversation you could probably, I don't
I
know, put in
hate
the
you.
same
I hate you so much.
same
Let's get into
range.
some fun facts about this movie.
You didn't even let me rate the dang thing.
Let's get into some fun facts. I'm tired of
Okay.
talking about this stupid movie.
Fun facts. This one got a lot of fun
I'm
facts.
gonna give you some room to do it, but I'm
I, I just get all mine from
no.
IMDb.
I know where you get yours. I get mine there too.
Uh,
Um, Sharon, Sharon Stone and Billy Baldwin hated each other and demanded their scenes be filmed separately whenever possible. She even bit his tongue so hard in one kissing scene he couldn't talk properly for days. Which is very interesting. I do feel like there was a good chemistry. Maybe that's just showing like that they're actually good professional actors. Um,
I'd say that about Sharon, not about him.
but I felt like he was really like I don't know. I got it. I got the impression that he was really into her, which is all I
And
needed.
well, I got the
Um,
impression it was really creepy. So
well,
I
yeah.
guess
I
yeah,
mean, you
he
can
did a
be
good
into
job.
somebody and still be creepy.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
And of course Tom Berenger killed it too. But
yeah. I also there were two, and maybe you can help me with this, but there are two things about the volcano. So during filming, a crew was sent to Hawaii to film an active volcano for the opening credits. During the flyover, the volcano erupted. Helicopter carrying the crew crashed. Nobody was killed, but all the film was lost. The opening credit scene is referenced in the film by the crystal volcano in Zeke's room. This is that whole scene of "I love volcanoes." Um, I hope to fly into one someday. Um, but then there was also like an original ending to this too.
oh, that's right. I
So
did it ever say what the ending was
yeah,
though?
so I think this is it. The original ending, Zeke instead of Jack, turns out to be the antagonist. He and Carly fly over a Hawaiian volcano when Zeke suddenly confesses his crimes. He then veers the aircraft into the volcano as the credits roll and leaves the audience to decide whether or not they survive. The shooting of this final scene resulted in the crashing of a helicopter.
No, that's what. Oh my gosh, that makes it so much better.
So,
I didn't know
after an
that.
investigation, the pilot's certificate was temporarily suspended. The footage during the shoot was destroyed. Audiences didn't like the idea of Carly turning immoral because during that scene, she tells Zeke that the evidence against him is somewhere safe, implying that she's willing to cover up his crime.
Yeah, that would seem very out of
So I guess
character.
they say for the opening credits, but I believe this second part. So it's crazy to me. Well, that's why we get the shitty ending that we get is because
Yeah.
of this here. Because
Well, I
everything
don't
that they
know.
already shot was done.
Again, I don't think the ending's necessarily shitty. I think it was the execution and the cheesy line. I
But yeah,
think,
they completely switched it from Jack to
yeah,
or
I
Zeke
think
to Jack.
I like that it was Jack and not Zeke because I think Zeke was too predictable. Did
I
you not
agree.
feel
I
that way?
know it. Whenever they revealed it was Jack, I was shocked. I was watching with Joe. I was shocked. That was the
You
yeah.
you said, Joe, can you believe this 5-star movie just ended with that twist?
Yes, I turned to him and I said, "The conversation has nothing on this movie. What a twist!" M.
Thank
Night
you.
Shyamalan, more like
I
Philip
knew you.
Noyce, the originator of the twist.
That's why they call him Philip Noyce.
Noyce. Uh,
Also,
Go ahead.
William Baldwin refused to get full frontal nude, and I'm disappointed.
I know this movie had a lot more full male frontal nudity, and actually, uh, there were 110 edits to avoid making that NC-17 rating. 110 edits in this movie,
Jeez.
which I believe it because there has
Yeah,
to be.
I see. I always like to give credit to movies where the guy hangs dong at least once or twice because I feel like it's only fair. Because it's always women that are naked, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I feel kind of bad because, like, well, damn, the dudes don't ever have to worry about that. But
Mm-mm.
they do a little bit better nowadays.
Yeah, there you did get to see some dong, but it was on the.
You did?
Yeah, it's you have to be really looking for it because
Oh, you were pulling the
I was
zoom.
looking for it. I was Zeke zooming.
Was it the old man?
No, it was a couple that were I think they had just had sex in the shower, and then like
Oh,
you see his dong
I
a
think I
little
do
bit.
remember
Yeah,
seeing that
you
now.
can see
Yeah.
it. A little bit
Okay.
dong. This
You've
is
seen
Dong
one, seen 'em
Talk on Twitch.
all. And this is Dong Talk.
And this is Dong Talk. We'll
Um,
be right back after this break.
I saw, and forgive me if I'm getting too far ahead on the fast facts, because
No.
I had just seen this one. I hadn't read it before. I didn't realize that Sharon Stone signed for so much for the lead. Did she make more than William Baldwin?
Yeah, she had to have 2.5 million. She was coming off of
Good for her.
she was coming off of Basic Instinct, probably her most popular movie at that time. She was probably in, I think, Total Recall before that. She had just done she just showed her beeve to all the world, so she was like, yeah, if I'm gonna be naked in this movie again and basically trying to be the exact same movie, then you're gonna pay me. So
She showed full beef.
yeah, man, it's a famous scene. You need to watch Basic Instinct.
Here we go.
It's not a, like I said, it's not. You get Michael
I'll be back.
Douglas. Love
I
Michael
did
Douglas.
see he was on the cover, and that already intrigued me. So
He's great in that movie.
I'll watch that.
Johnny Depp, Val Kilmer turned down the role of Zeke. I have that here.
I'm not shocked.
Kurt Russell turned down the Jack role. I guess these people didn't want to be involved in this movie. I wonder why. Roman Polanski was supposed to direct this. This movie was produced by famous producer Robert Evans, by the way. The Kid Stays in the Picture. If you don't know anything about Robert Evans, that's a good documentary about him. The Kid Stays in the Picture. But he wanted Polanski to direct this, but Polanski couldn't because he was not able to come back to the United States because he's a pedophile.
Yep.
Yeah. As part of the reshot ending, Tom Berenger and Polly Walker, which I don't think this is anywhere in the movie, like that we could see that, but Tom Berenger and Polly Walker were required to film a scene wearing S&M gear, and both actors refused as this wasn't in their original contract, so they had to film the scene with doubles. So it's out there somewhere.
Oh, interesting.
Original script had Zeke as the killer, but was reshot because it fared poorly with test audiences.
Telling you, it was just too obvious.
That's some conflicting information. Did it get destroyed? Like
that is conflicting.
That is conflicting. I don't like that. This was one of my problems early in the movie. Following Gus Hale's death, Gus Hale is the old man. Carly finds a newspaper clip where it says, "Horror High Rise claims third victim." Gus was the third. Naomi Singer was the second. That's the one that looked just like her, but it's not revealed who is the first.
Oh, yeah. It's just like assumed. That is weird. I think that was a screw up on their part, and they're just saying that to cover their asses.
All right, what else you got? That's all of mine.
I was gonna say, I think that might be it. Yeah, that's it.
All right, how do you make it better?
How do you improve a masterpiece? I don't know.
I said
no.
I said release it as a silent film.
You're really mad at Baldwin.
I'm not mad. I'm mad at everybody.
You can't be mad at Berenger, right?
You'll read me. You
can be mad at Berenger. You can't be mad at Sharon, right? Yeah, because she's
Watch this.
That might be the writing, though. I think that's what it could have used.
I've been getting a plastic yeast infection.
I think it could have been benefited from some much better writing, but I think like the overall concept and the voyeuristic part of it is good.
I do think there is a good story here.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what the book is like, because this is based on the book by Ira Levin, who also wrote. Is he the one that wrote Rosemary's Baby, or is the screenwriter the one that wrote Rosemary's Baby?
That's a good point. It could have been the screenwriter. Yeah, you could be right on that. I'm not sure. But regardless, I mean, they're, if they're the same writer, either the same screenwriter or same. But Polanski did Rosemary's Baby, right?
That was before he was a pedophile.
Yeah. No, he was still a pedophile.
He also wrote this, not Polanski, but this guy wrote Stepford Wives too.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Very interesting.
So that's the same guy wrote all three books?
Mm-hmm. So I'm curious about the book. I wonder if the book is good. I'm never going to read it, but I wonder if it's good.
Yeah. I'll be willing to bet the book is much better, and that this just suffered from some bad writing, or maybe some directing.
Yeah, I mean Philip Noyce isn't so Noyce that he's directed
Yeah,
many great things, but he's had some moderate success. He's not like some B movie director or anything like
yeah.
that. So,
But I mean, as bad as like Polanski is, like trying to follow that up,
and
writing this author stuff.
I don't know if they're trying to, lightning to strike twice with the Basic Instinct thing. I mean, this movie did fairly well. I mean, it made 60 million. I think is what I said
Yeah,
earlier. $60 million, over sixty
that doesn't
million
really say
dollars.
the time frame though, does it?
No, but I mean that's usually within the box office. That's the box office run. So that's not like considering like
Yeah.
VHS sales or
Okay.
rentals or anything like that. That's just theater runs. So I mean, it was, even though it was poorly reviewed, it actually had a decent showing. I think this is kind of the beginning of the end of the erotic thrillers. We're coming out of the '80s, where the '80s had a lot of these. Brian De Palma did some, and there are several others like Kathleen Turner's in a couple, and William Hurt, and all these people. Michael Douglas is the king of Fatal Attraction, all that stuff. I think this is the beginning of the end, though, because I think like this is like seen as not very well done, and then movies like this, like Jade. I don't know if you've ever heard of Jade, but
No.
another erotic thrill. I want to say it might have been by the same screenwriter. I know it has some of the similar character names and stuff in it, but that one was also panned, and I feel like that's kind of the end of the this for the erotic thrillers of the '90s. I think it kills it. So
This is a very odd genre, but I mean, I've enjoyed watching some of them.
yeah, yeah,
Like I said, I
absolutely.
like this one better than Indecent Proposal.
And that
Do
one
you
wasn't
have the
really a
same
thriller.
opinion?
That one was, and it wasn't even really erotic. I don't even know what
Yeah,
that
well,
movie
it's
is.
supposed to be.
I think it just has a cooler title than
It does. It
what the
does.
movie actually turns out to be. So, what is your star rating on this?
My star rating, and I'm sticking by it, is a 3.5
I
because I found enjoyment in this movie.
I think I was going to go with a 1.5 on this one, and I think the hilarity of some of these lines made me bump it up to a 2 because I
A
was
one,
laughing.
oh, geez, that's harsh.
Yeah. I think I hate
Wow.
this movie more than I hated Leprechaun.
Interesting. Oh, I liked Leprechaun too, though.
But I love me some Sharon Stone.
Yeah, yeah, fair enough.
So,
I'm sticking by my 3.5. I had fun, so my rating is going to
that's all that
reflect that.
matters, is that you had
Yep,
fun. That's all that.
exactly.
We're watching movies that we haven't seen before.
I was gonna say, now had I seen this in the past, I probably would have hated it and then hated it again.
Yeah.
But I didn't.
Well, go out and watch this movie if you haven't seen it before. It's genuine. I think it's definitely worth it just to see what we're talking about if you didn't watch it along with us. And if you did, listen to all this and haven't seen the movie, then we spoiled a lot for you, but that's okay. I'm
I
okay
mean, it's
with
just
it.
kind of form your own opinion on this.
Yeah,
Obviously, some people love it, some people hate it.
I want you to, and that's what we're doing here on 52/1993. But Spencer, want to thank you for being my guest, and I'll keep you on here while we let's say the next movie for next
Oh,
week.
can I give a suggestion real quick of a movie I just recently watched that I
Oh
thought was
yeah,
pretty good?
absolutely.
Okay. Well, first of all, I finally, because you might in the future do a stream based on it, but I finally did watch Inglorious Bastards, which was fantastic. But I watched on Apple TV Plus because they just keep coming out with good stuff. I watched Tetris with Taron. What is it? Taron Egerton? Eagleton?
Edgerton.
Yeah, something like that. But it was really good. So I would encourage you to go watch that. I was a big Tetris fan growing up, so it was kind of cool to see the based on a true story backstory to all that.
That's cool. It was on my list of things to watch. That, and then the pinball movie that's coming out sometime.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
which
what is
is
that one?
I think it's just called Pinball. And there's
I
a
need to.
Flaming Hot Cheetos movie coming out
Uh,
this year as well. There's a lot
interesting.
of corporation movies because we got Air that just came out this week about the Air Jordans. So
Yeah,
like
how
all
has that
these,
been
I
performing?
think it's been like reviewed pretty well. I mean, it's going up against the juggernaut of Super Mario Brothers,
Mario,
but
yeah, which is another
um,
corporation movie.
yeah. again, so a lot of IP out there that we're just
Yeah.
throwing out there. I'm trying to think of anything that I watched. So I watched Scream 6, uh,
Oh yeah, how was that?
which I'm a big fan of the Scream
Me
franchise.
too.
I really enjoyed it. I think that's the thing with all those Scream movies, though. Like, even if they have bad parts to them, I still really enjoy them because of, I don't know, the cast is really good, or the history behind it, the lore. I love me some lore.
Well, I think
Um,
in a sense too, like the bad parts of it are kind of meant to be there. They're
yeah, yeah.
meant to be kind of poking fun of that cheesy horror.
And I don't know if it's my favorite in this. It's definitely not my favorite in the series, but um, it's probably going to be closer to the bottom of the ones I like in this. But again, I genuinely like the Scream series and would watch all those movies over this one. And then I think last night I watched Pickpocket, which is an old French film about a pickpocket. It was very good. I enjoyed it. So that's on my Letterboxd. You can find me on Letterboxd. My username on there, CD Waits. I also have Instagram and Twitter if you want to have a conversation on there. I really don't interact with them that much, but you never know if some of this stuff starts popping off. Maybe I'll use them a little bit more. But Letterboxd is definitely where I go to for all that stuff. So check out my account there. Spencer's on there as well, BSG6515. Where he has been putting a lot more of his movies, and I'm very proud of him for using that. And
I'm still getting bad at the rewatch part.
no,
Like
I
I
love
watched
it.
Office Space today, and I haven't put the rewatch on there, so
That's okay.
whatever.
That's okay. You're doing great. And I hate to
Appreciate it.
like shill out for this app, but and it even got made fun of in Scream 6 for being a letterbox movie.
Yes, that's funny.
Yeah, it's pretty good. But yeah, that we'll be doing this next week, regular time, so it'll be next Sunday. I'm still trying to figure out when we're gonna do the not the Pulp Fiction pod, but the Quentin Tarantino pod, where we will be ranking giving our personal rankings of the Quentin Tarantino movies. So that'll definitely be in the near future. Next week's movie, we are going to be watching Menace to Society. And if you're looking for a place to watch that, I do know it is on HBO Max. So definitely give that a watch before next week's pod, and we will discuss that with you then.
I have high hopes. It's gonna be a big hitter.
I've never seen it before, so I'm really looking forward to this one. So again, thank you all for joining me this week. Thank you to chat for being involved. We had some new chatters this time around. Thank you for coming to today's podcast. We do this every week, and please get involved as much or as little as you want. Other than that, thank you, Spencer, and we'll see you again next week.